Hello and welcome to the Sensual Being podcast with myself, your host, Jolene Whiting. I have been a pole dance teacher for nearly 20 years. I'm also a yoga instructor, and my favourite pastimes are connecting to my own sensuality, connecting with the world, and connecting with animals as well. In this podcast, you'll find new and inventive ways of how you see yourself, connecting yourself with others, and also how you see and view the world around you. In this episode, I go on a little bit of a rant about how we can pick ourselves up and live a happier life in a world which is trying to create so much fear through the media. Hello, welcome, you magical, sensual being. How are you doing today? How's it going? Are you doing good? Or are you having a funny day? Or are you on top of the world? Whichever, the answer is, that's okay. It's valid. If you're happy, cool, it's valid. If you're upset, okay, it's valid. So, if you're in a happy state, let's see what we can do to keep you there. If you're not feeling 100% today, for whatever reason, again, let's see what we can do to get you to feel a little bit happier. So we're going to go through a few things. Now, the reason why I'm doing this particular episode is because the world is full of so much doom and gloom, and we are wired to see the negative side of life. It's just the way we are as human beings. It's not just the way you are, it's the way we all are. So to try and see the best in things is actually quite hard. It takes work, yeah? Have you ever noticed that when someone negative walks into the room, they can bring everybody else down? Because negativity can latch on, and if you're not aware, you will get taken by it. And if you are someone who does this, then you really need to think about changing. I don't normally say you should change, but honestly, life is better on the other side. I promise you so much. But have you ever been taken away by someone's happiness and enthusiasm, or their love and their passion for something, and you're like, oh, I just need to be around that person more? So gratitude can have, and happiness and love can have the same sort of effect, but it's not very often that we get that. So we have to actually make the effort. Now, you'll know through watching the news and things, and this has always been the case, but it has got worse over the last few years. They want us to live in a fear state, to be so worried about everything, and also to blame us for everything. You know, the world is dying, it's all your fault, it's your fault for taking your trip in your car and all this, yeah? I'm not getting into all of that, but what I'm saying is, no, it's not your fault. And as soon as you switch off the news, which is one of my main things to say to you, switch off the news. When the people who say, I don't really watch the news, you'll get the news through social media and things. It will still be there. So one of my main things for you is come away from social media. And there's more reasons for that, but I'm talking about the news at the moment. Come away from the news. Trust me, if there's something important that you need to know about, the universe will tell you about it. You will find out. And I promise life is much happier if you turn off the news. The other reason to come away from social media is not just because of the news, but also even if you think you don't compare yourself to anybody else, you do. Because you're a human being and you will always compare yourself with other people, and social media is rife for doing this. It's so easy to do because you don't even know it's happening, yeah? And you don't need that sort of comparison. You are you, and you're amazing just as you are, yeah? So come away from that, and I know that might feel quite awkward, yeah? What I suggest doing is actually decluttering, changing things around, changing routines, change a load of your patterns, and you will find a change in your state of being. Because if you do one thing, it will make you feel quite uncomfy. You do more, all in one go, you'll get quite used to the uncomfiness. And used to it is a very weird way of putting it. So what I mean by that, so change your routine. What time do you get up in the morning? Do you get up late? Get up earlier. Do you go to bed late? Go to bed earlier. Get the same bedtime every night. But when you wake up in the morning, what do you do? Do you go straight on social media? Are you in a rush to get to work? Do you just go straight out the door? Give yourself time. Do you meditate in the morning? Okay, cool. Instead, go for a walk. Just change things. And I'm not saying you should change them and make bad decisions, even if you're someone who makes good choices. So my normal routine is I get up and I like to meditate, I like to ground, and I like to do a little bit of yoga and gentle movement. Recently, I have changed that. Yeah, I have switched it, and most mornings now I do what's called priming, which is kind of like meditation, and I do a lot of dancing. And I don't mean I jump on the pole at 7 o'clock in the morning. I mean, normally I jump out in the garden and just jump around to some music. You can do it anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the garden. But I have changed the way I'm showing up in the world. Now, all these things aren't bad things that I was doing before, but I'm changing a load of things to make myself feel different. And you know what? It's working. Yeah, it's amazing. One of the other things we can do is you can declutter. You can get rid of stuff you don't need. If you find that you don't need to do that because you live that way anyway, that's fine. Maybe you can move some stuff around. Maybe you can move some furniture around. Maybe if you've got paintings or artwork on the walls or photos, you can move the photos around. And it's so weird how this really changes your state. And it's such a good thing to do. Like, for example, one of the things that my mum does, so she's very creative and she has loads of different strings in her bow. So she can be painting, she can be sewing, but because it's all in her home, it can get very cluttered with what she's using. So what she finds she does every now and again, she'll just put everything away, clean everything, clear everything. Then all of a sudden her mind has got a fresh canvas to bring out what she now wants to use. Yeah? So this is great in a craft and art sort of way. It's also great just in general living. So if you've been in your same house, like every couple of years, I would change my bedroom around and I'll move my bed. I can only have my bed in 2 places because it's that sort of shape and size of bedroom. But if I move my bed round, move my cabinets to the other side, all of a sudden it just changes you and it just revives you and makes you feel different. So it doesn't take much to change a state of being. So we can all do little things or big things if you want to, but it doesn't have to be big. It does not have to be expensive. It may feel uncomfortable, but be with the uncomfiness, because what's on the other side waiting for you is so much better, yeah? And I appreciate the world can be so heavy with all the fear-mongering, you know, all the stuff we've been bombarded with through the news and the media, and, oh, you're doing this, pointing fingers at you, you're the bad person, you should be changing what you eat, changing how you live, and stuff like that. You don't have to, despite the fact I've just said you need to declutter and move yourself around. But I'm talking on a grand scale of how they're fear-mongering you. And I appreciate the world is very heavy, but sometimes I get like overwhelmed and think, I want to change the world, you know, but I'm one person, yeah? And sometimes that can be such a big thought. So if you've had that thought before, you're not alone. You're just like, I want to change the world. Do you know what you can do with that thought? Make it a mission of yours to make another person's day a little bit better, yeah? Or more than one, but go for one. Because I tell you something, that will snowball on and they'll want to do more as well. But you imagine a world now, close your eyes if it's safe to do so. Imagine a world where everybody woke up in the morning with the same mission, that they want to make somebody else's life better for that day. Can you imagine the shift in the world, the shift in the energy? I mean, the world, humanity would change overnight. We would be so much more connected to ourselves. We'd be coming from a place of gratitude and appreciation. We'd appreciate what that person has done or said to us to make us feel better. We'd then want somebody else to feel that good. Yeah? So you can see how this will snowball on. So life does not have to be so complicated. And one of the things we did recently, I held a sensual being circle, which was a meditation circle with some chanting and stuff. One of the things we did, because it was around the time of Lammas, which is the time of the harvest. And what we did, we each bought £5 cash and we put it on the altar. And throughout our session, we were just sort of blessing the money with our good energy. And then at the end of it, I said, right, now take your £5 back and go. The next time you do a shop, go and buy £5 worth of food for the food bank. Or if you see a homeless person on the street, buy something for them. Or whatever it is, give it in some way, shape or form to someone who needs it more than you do. Yeah. So again, it's just spreading that beautiful energy around, because we can do so much just from being who we already are. We don't need to be a different person to change the world and to pick up humanity and all live together in this beautiful world, this beautiful ever-changing world. It's just amazing. So I will love and leave you there. I appreciate you so much for being here and listening to this podcast. I just appreciate you so much, because as I'm sitting here, I'm imagining sitting across the table from you and talking with you. So remember to lead through your life with your heart and to live each day with intention. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please do share it with your friends and on social media. If you have the time to rate or review this podcast, I'd be ever so grateful. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, you can find me at Jolene Sensual Being. The links to my YouTube and to sign up to my mailing list will be in the show notes as well. I look forward to speaking with you again very soon.